The first cage in our room belongs to our carpet python, Jane. Since Jane is one of our only semi-arboreal snakes, she has a special cage. Her cage is 4 feet long by 2 feet deep by about 5 feet tall. And in her cage, we have PVC piping going across so that she can climb. This is Jane. She's my carpet python. She was given to me when she was about a year old. Now she is pushing 6 feet. We're not sure whether she's a jungle carpet python or a coastal carpet python because, like I said, she was given to me. Most of my snakes are in Boaphile's plastic cages. Those are going to be the black cages around my room. I have a couple different sets of them. So this set is for my smaller snakes. Each cage is 2 feet long, 2 feet deep, and about a foot tall. And that houses snakes like my ball pythons and some of the colubrids. Zero is our spinner blast ball python. She was given to us because she was not a good eater. She's still not a great eater. She is kind of picky about what she eats and when she eats. She is 3 years old, and that's Zero. Frank was my very first snake pet. He is a normal ball python that I got from Petco. After I worked at the zoo with the bull snakes, I decided that I wanted a snake of my own, and Frank was sitting alone in a corner at Petco, and I decided that I wanted him. He is still my favorite snake, and he is a 5-year-old male normal ball python. Snow is my female pied ball python. She's about 4 years old. I had actually purchased her for one of my ex-boyfriends because he wanted a snake, and after we broke up he got with someone who did not like snakes, so I got the snake back, which is pretty cool because she's a really pretty snake and she has a very sweet personality and is a fabulous eater. This is Leela. She is not as pretty as she normally would be because she is deep blue in shed, but she is my pastel ball python. She's only about 2 years old, and she's probably my biggest ball python. She was given to me from a breeder who she wasn't worth anything to him. She has one eye, which may be difficult to see in the video, but she's still, for some reason, my absolute best eater. We've never had an issue with her, and I mean, clearly she's our best eater. She's older than Zero and younger than Zero and Frank, but she's still huge. This is Toro. She is my bull snake. She's not going to sit still for this video. This is the type of snake that I first ever worked with. Like, this is the first snake, not Toro in particular, but bull snakes were the first snake that I ever touched, the first snake I ever held, the first snake I was ever bit by. So I have a really good appreciation for bull snakes. I love Toro, even though she's wild. I'm actually surprised, oh, there was a hiss, but I'm actually surprised she's not hissing right now. She normally does not tolerate my handling her. She's really sassy. So she is a 3-year-old bull snake that my husband got for me for Christmas one year, because I told him I wanted a bull snake. This is Penelope, who is also deep in shed. Lucky me, got all my snakes in shed. We're not sure how old she was. She was given to me also as an adult for being too aggressive. We don't have very many issues with her. Sometimes she'll open mouth hiss when we get her out of the cage, but once she's out, she's pretty much good to go. Right now she's in the small cages because I broke one of my big cages and we're waiting on another big cage to come in, so eventually she'll be moved over with the rest of the boas. She is a Nicaraguan boa. This is little Bandit. Bandit is a Honduran milk snake. I got her from the store that I work. I've always wanted a Honduran milk snake because they look like a coral snake, which is really cool. So Bandit's a baby. Bandit isn't even a year old. We really like her, and she's pretty chill. This baby boa I typically try not to handle because handling him stresses him out, so we're gonna wait till he gets a little older to handle him. This is Darth Vader. He is also a Nicaraguan boa, like Penelope, but he's much younger. He's about a year old. He really doesn't like to be held. He'll strike at me, bite if he can. He's never been able to get me, but it's just, I don't want to put any excess stress on the snake, so I just keep holding him to a minimal. This is where I keep Delilah, my bearded dragon. She's my only bearded dragon. Her cage is just a 40-gallon glass terrarium. We're working on also getting her a PVC cage because the glass is a little bit heavy, but we're still going to keep the 40-gallon. Delilah was given to us as an adult, so we're not really sure how old Delilah is. Our best guess is that she's pretty old because she was full grown when we got her. She's very sweet. She has vision problems as well as breathing problems, but she still functions just like a normal bearded dragon would. Here is where we keep Gore-Tex, our leopard gecko. Gore-Tex has been in my family probably the longest. He is at least 14 years old. He was a crested or a leopard gecko that my little brothers got one year from the place where I currently work as their first pet. He is in a 20-gallon glass aquarium, but we're going to change it also over to the PVC. He is kind of crotchety. He's been moved around. He's been moved from Nashville to Memphis, back to Nashville, to different places in Nashville. This guy's been through a lot, so he's kind of cranky. Let's see. There's Gore-Tex. I don't know anything about his morph. I don't know where... I don't know anything about Gore-Tex other than he's old and crotchety. He has bit me on occasion. He's bit my husband on occasion. He is not like your typical leopard gecko. Vixie is also in a 30-gallon cage. I got hers when I thought that I wanted to switch to front opening glass cages, and then I discovered the Gecko Junkies cages, so she will also be getting switched to a PVC cage. Vixie is my western hognose snake. She is a normal hognose. She's about 3 years old, about 3 feet, full grown. And there's my lady. I would highly suggest a hognose to anyone who wants any sort of snake. As for my big snakes, I'm not going to take them out because they are a lot to handle alone. Ajax, Petunia, Hennessy, and Midas I could all potentially handle alone. Daisy is not really handleable for me without my husband, but I will show you all their cages. So all the boas, Ajax, Petunia, and Daisy, are all in 4 feet long by 2 feet deep by a foot high enclosures. Ajax, as everyone knows, is my wonderful normal male boa constrictor. For my vet's guess, he is about 14 to 15 years old. He is one of my rescues. My roommate brought him home to me one night. I'll put his rescue story up in another video, but that is Ajax. Petunia is my 3-year-old female boa constrictor. She thinks it's time to eat. Everyone ate last night. She was also given to me because her owners thought that she was a bad eater. She's eaten for me every week, so I'm not really sure where people get these ideas. Daisy is my adult Dumerril's boa. She is in Penelope's cage right now because her cage broke in the move. Daisy is a very, very nervous 8-foot Dumerril's boa. Our best guess for her age is in the mid-20s. She was given to me just because someone didn't want her anymore. Now, the retics are going to be interesting to showcase because retics are such food-oriented snakes that anytime I try to open their cage, they pretty much charge at me thinking I'm going to feed them. They're fine once I get them out and once they realize it's not food time, but they can be very cage aggressive. So they are both in 8 feet long by 2 feet deep by 1 foot high. Neither of them need all that space yet, but we decided to plan ahead. Both of their cages, Biophiles does this cool thing where he can put locks on your cages if you want locks. Retics are escape masters, so we decided to go ahead and get the locks for their cages to make sure we don't have any issues in the future. This is Hennessy. She was our first reticulated python. She's right now only about 7 or 8 feet. She is an albino lavender reticulated python. She's also in shed today, so all my snakes are on their ugliest behavior, perfect for video day. My husband got her for me as an engagement present because I'd always wanted a reticulated python, but I didn't think I could handle one. So he was like, well, no time like the present, and got me Hennessy. Midas is much more cage defensive, so we'll see if he's even gonna let me do this. He is our golden child reticulated python, which is the first snake I ever wanted, but I knew that I could not handle a retic, which is why I got Frank, my normal ball python. And I'm really glad I did not start with a retic, because he is truly more than I can handle. So this is Midas. I know he's hiding back there, but he is our golden child reticulated python. He is only about 5 feet, I'd say. Oh, both of my retics are about 2 years old. So just to show you the size disparity between male and female snakes, which is not always true. But Hennessy is reaching 2 years old. She is 7 or 8 feet. Midas is reaching 2 years old at 5 feet. Neither of them are dwarfs. They're both mainlands. Igneel is our only reptile who's in a bioactive terrarium. Bioactive simply means that there are live plants growing in it. There are organisms that'll take care of Igneel's waste and help the plants grow. So I pretty much don't have to mess with this terrarium. He's got mosses and an orchid and some bugs that help it cycle. So he is our red-eyed crocodile skink. He is super shy. He may not even let me handle him. Red-eyed crocodile skinks are very shy by nature. There he is. There's Iggy. So this is Igneel. He is actually my husband's lizard. My husband told me one year that he wanted a red-eyed crocodile skink for his birthday, and we got Igneel. Next up is Sticky. Sticky is my first crested gecko. I didn't think I ever wanted a crested gecko until I worked where I currently work. Sticky is in a Gecko Junkies cage. These cages are made by someone who is a good friend of mine. The cages hold in heat and humidity really well, and they're super lightweight. So that's why I'm switching all of my cages from glass cages to this style of cage. So this is Sticky. She was not thrilled with me grabbing her out of the cage. She is a crested gecko. Crested geckos are pretty shy overall, so... Whoops. I'm sorry, Sticky. So I try to keep handling on her to a minimal as well. I also got her from a good friend that breeds crested geckos, and I decided to start out with a juvenile rather than a baby because babies stress out much more quickly. And that's Sticky. Lola's enclosure right now is absolutely pitiful. We are in the process of building her a brand new enclosure. She used to be in a 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot cage, and we had to move, and that cage, it was just too heavy to move. So we have a friend building her a 4 foot by 4 foot by 3 foot tall enclosure, which will be done today, just not in time for the video. So this is Lola, our red tegu. She is still getting used to us. Tegus are really curious. She would just rather me stay pretty far away from her. We're not sure how old she is. She was given to the store because the owner wanted a Cayman instead. So we've got a Lola. And this is Jabberwocky. He is also in the process of getting a new cage. He is our white throat monitor. His new cage is going to be 6 feet by 4 foot by 2 feet. He also had a 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot enclosure before we moved. Again, it was too heavy to bring with us to this home, so right now he's in his temporary cage. He is, oh my gosh. He is our baby white throat monitor. You can hear him hissing. Baby monitors are generally pretty defensive. He is actually my husband's monitor. My husband really likes big lizards and big snakes. I am perfectly content with the smaller things, but that's okay. Jab is overall pretty good. He still hisses and tail whips, but he's a pretty good monitor. Alright, these guys are not reptiles, but I am also technically an aquatic specialist, so I figured I should probably get some aquatic animals. These are called BB puffers, or pea puffers. They are totally freshwater pufferfish. I've got them in a 5-gallon aquarium, and I just got them at work so that I could pretty much say I had fish. I really like them, other than they're really aggressive, but they're pretty cool. So I can hear Solomon pitter-pattering around the house. He is our male sulcata tortoise. That's his dog bed. That's pretty much where I find him every day when I come home. And here is Solomon. He is a 6-year-old sulcata or African spurred tortoise. He free roams our house, but he does have this pen, which he has a doggy door filled with orchard grass that he eats out of in the morning, as well as his light. But he spends most of his day just wandering the house. And on days when it's warm enough, we let him out into the backyard to do some free roaming. And of course, anyone who knows me well enough knows that I love cherry